All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Attack on Titan, Season 4, Episode 25. The squad is together. We have the armored, colossal, female, jaw and cart Titan, all helping to save the world and reclaim the founder.
Yeah, that is the mission. It's
That's
impossible. Right. And it's also Episode 25 of an Attack on Titan season, and it's not the final episode.
No. Yeah, and there's only 3 episodes left in this finalist season, but at the same time, probably not actually ending in 3 episodes.
No, probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not. No.
I mean, who knows? Maybe it will. You know, that could totally
we get
maybe
some Game
happen.
of Thrones teleporting, kind of stuff here.
It's just the whole rest of it is a montage. Like, whole rest of the show. No. But yeah, these characters have been reunited, and while so far it's just yes, we do need to save the world, right? I'm sure there'll probably be some conversations that they'll have to have.
Yes.
About this new situation they find themselves in.
Yeah, because it's not just the fact that they're gathering all the available the people that can turn into Titans right now. They've also got Magath and Hanji and then Levi, even though he's missing 2 very important fingers. Sorry, ladies.
Right.
This is a situation where we are also dealing with Flock on the island front side of things as well. And he doesn't seem to be just adjusting everything, because of what's going on here. Now, we could just leave him here.
Possibly,
and just go.
I mean, let's be real.
But I mean,
is there any kind of army that would actually do anything against Eren right now?
Well, that's the thing. This is a Death Star kind of situation. We don't need an army.
Right, you need
we
a
need
small
30
elite team.
snub fighters.
Exactly. Send the X-Wings in, Yep. Get Levi and
Mikasa's
Mikasa
like,
in
I used
there.
to bullseye, it's not
I used
impossible.
to bullseye Titans when I was just 15.
It's just 15 back home. They weren't much bigger than, 10
Colossals,
meters. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Man your thunder spears, and may the paths be with you.
God damn it. The Thunder Spheres could totally be the proton torpedo.
They actually could, right? It fits so well.
All right, now all we need is a trench run.
No, really, and there's this rib cage centipede kind of thing going here. They're literally gonna zip underneath it and inside it. That's the only way that the Colossals.
At that speed, will you be able to pull out in time? God damn it. Connie's like,
Mikasa just says this world is very cruel but also very beautiful. It's like, Mikasa, you switched off your targeting computer. What's wrong? Nothing. I'm just resolved in what I have to do.
Okay. Well,
but y'all sent some amazing comments. Yep. Jacob selected 3 of them.
That's right.
They were curated. Because you gave the special code phrase that is used at the end of every discussion for these Attack on Titan episodes. So let's see what the first one is here. To save the world, the content warning was actually for Connie's creepy face. Jokes aside, Mappa really did an incredible job animating the facial expressions right before that, transitioning from one into another. I don't know if the manga showed every one of them in short panels, but if not, they did some outstanding work filling in the gaps. Coming back to Marco, it's kind of amazing the impact that he's had for the amount of screen time he got. He motivated Jean to become a leader. He started Reiner down the path of disassociation identity crisis when the trio killed him to preserve their secret. He gave Jean a further sense of motivation in death. Even now, 4 seasons after his death, we still know exactly who Jean meant when he mentioned those ashen bones. Truly, he's no half-assed character. It's important to... I get the pun. I get the pun.
Half.
Yeah. But it's something when you have a story that has a lot of death in it, but in some ways very few main named character deaths as well. To have one where a character could have been a main character.
Yep.
And he never really was.
Right, never got the chance. But his death was something that was used in that way, but it wasn't beaten over the head with like us as the audience. We didn't really have that many times where it was like, oh, Marco died. Right, exactly.
It was really just Jean. Jean was the one that really felt that hit there, because Jean was kind of in some ways the one that not everyone necessarily jived with as much. He was kind of an asshole in season 1.
Oh yeah.
So the fact that Jean had that moment realizing, oh God, this is what we're facing. Should I leave everyone else to deal with this and go off here? Would that make me
he found out that he kind of had to, right?
Yeah.
He wouldn't be able to live with himself otherwise.
Yeah, and now here, this is helping a lot. Yeah.
Yep. It's something where having characters that aren't around for very long, that are then, that then die tragically, right?
Mm-hmm.
The show didn't try and make us really feel bad for Marco, right? Like, yes, okay, he died. He was wholesome boy with freckles, right?
Yeah.
But it was really about how Jean responded to it, right?
Yeah.
How everyone else responded to it, and later we found out Reiner.
Yes.
So that's... I feel like Isayama really, really struck gold with how he basically just had this character that was just there for a little bit. They did their thing, they left, and yet he can still bring them up every now and then, way, way later. And
and it doesn't feel like he's pandering for feels or what
exactly,
have you.
right.
I really appreciate actually the way in which he was incorporated into the Reiner storyline side of things, because his death was one that made us have a bunch of theories when Annie was like, I'm sorry, because in some ways she wasn't really like talking to Marco like specifically there, right? Like that was kind of like, it was kind of cut in a way to make it seem like it could have been.
Yeah, I can't remember all the different details of the ways that they showed things from Annie's perspective beforehand, but yeah, it was...
Well, no, this was after the fight. After the fight's over, she's staring at a whole bunch of comrades and stuff like
right.
that.
Yes.
And she's like, I'm sorry. And I remember having theories back then of like, is this something that's because we found out that she was the female Titan?
Right. Was it that she was staring specifically at Marco, or was it that she was staring at other people that died?
Yeah.
And it's the
I could have saved you.
I could have saved you. I am
but
a Titan.
I'm not really on your side.
Right, exactly.
And my since she was affiliated with the Titans in my mind at that time, it was something where I was like, oh, cool, this is a way to show Marco's death also affecting someone that's the enemy, even back then before we knew what we knew in season 2.
Yeah, because like
Attack on Titan,
even with their whole thing, like if they still were holding on to those island devils, right, which they wouldn't have been after going through basic training and stuff with them and stuff,
right.
But for the most with Marco, right, like you could not look at that face and he's like, I want to help people and stuff, and be like, yes, island devil,
Yeah, great comment, though. Jay Black, thank you so much for the comment. To save the world, the Annie scene is pretty polarizing. Many are able to see the humor and levity of the scene, and some are more jaded about the situation and found it to be bad writing. Ultimately, I think Isayama has earned the right to take a narrative shortcut like this. Not only does it benefit Isayama to do this, it benefits the reader in pacing to not have us endure a 2-episode-long realistic team-up. Gotcha. Yeah. The story has done such a good job to let us know our characters are feeling... how our characters are feeling, and what decisions they would make up to this point. We don't need scenes of Annie and Mikasa staring at each other, glaring as they meet. We don't need to see Connie yell at Annie and calling her a murderer. They're all murderers now. They're all conflicted and vaguely hypocritical or selfish. None of it matters now. It's the apocalypse, and they just want the bloodshed to end. This is why this scene is okay, in my opinion. I'm not saying the characters shouldn't interact. I just believe it's not necessary when they first meet up. When you meet your old enemy after 5 years and both of you have lost it all, how could you not just laugh? You know what's really great about this in some ways is I still think we're going to get lots of talking. I don't think just because they teamed up now that suddenly there's not going to be any talking.
Just because they mentally assent to be like, okay, yes, the world is ending, we should probably do something about that. That doesn't mean it's going to be smooth sailing once they start to, right?
Exactly.
Because there's complicated shit that's happening.
In a very meta way, they have to go from where they are at in parody to wherever the fuck Aaron is at this point.
And that's
going to take some time. And when you're writing, you think, well, I don't want to just skip through that. So maybe I have some conversations. Maybe I have some interactions. Maybe I have some little bits of drama and, expressing of emotions from characters that don't see things the same way. And I think that that's where they can have that happen. Right now, time is of the essence. Then we're already making good time potentially. So that's where we have those interactions.
We have potentially time to kill as, we're, in transit. So
yeah.
Might as well.
So I think that this is one of those things where I liked Connie's response to it. Mm-hmm. In some ways, it's this aspect of Connie's like, oh God, wow, this is a horrific situation. We're fucked. But also, oh my God, I haven't seen Annie in years.
Right.
The first time I see her, she's chowing down pie. What the fuck? This world is so weird.
Yep.
And I think that that's absolutely a fair response. The idea
and also Connie is the kind of character more than any of them that would have that kind of response.
Yeah, because it was Connie's episode as well.
Yeah, it was Connie's episode, and there have been plenty of situations where he doesn't really feel equipped to deal with what's been happening.
Yeah.
And I feel like him going after his mom is kind of a culmination of that, where it's the, okay, I might not be smart like you, Armin, but hey, at least I can maybe save my mom.
Yeah.
He deals with that whole thing, comes back from it, and then, oh, Annie's here. Huh, sure. Yeah, why not? You know, all the frustrations he had with, say, Reiner and, and everybody, he's dealt with that over the last 4 years.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I feel like when it's come to this point that Annie is a representation of the enemy, but they haven't actually had her as the enemy for all this time.
Yep.
And our characters have had all this time to process their emotions regarding the enemy. So at this point, yeah, Annie's just kind of in some ways, I think the more bad writing side of things is the coincidence that they find each other so quickly.
And even that,
I would say is fine.
That's not really a problem, because when it comes right down to it, what would we rather see in the story?
Exactly.
Like, forget like drama of characters running into each other and potentially having issues. That makes a lot more sense and could be engaging even if it's not our favorite thing, because it makes sense for them to have those issues, right? But oh, yeah, where's Annie? We don't know where she is. That'd be great if we could get her help right now. Do we really want to see, whatever it would take for them to run into each other?
Yeah, exactly.
Just have it happen quick.
And the last comment here from Snow Globe. To save the world, I just want to take a moment to give Onyankopon some love. Yes! For a character that shows up so far into the story and is generally a spectator to what's going on around him, he really left an impression on me. I think it's because his character is the perfect representation of the kind of people Armin hoped to meet in the outside world. Out of genuine interest, he traveled to Paradise Island to lend a helping hand. He understood what it was like to live under the oppression of Marley, and he believed the island and the people in it had a future, which makes his breakdown at gunpoint so devastating. So it frustrates me when I see people justifying Eren's actions with the argument that the entire world wanted to kill them. So what else was he supposed to do? But people like Onyankopon proved that it didn't have to be an us versus them situation.
Nope.
Exactly.
False dichotomy.
There would have surely been people out there that would hear Parady's plight. Had Eren been willing, I genuinely believe that Parady's original plan of allying with other nations while protecting themselves with a small-scale rumbling would have worked out for them. Who's to say? Yeah. It wouldn't have solved every single problem. Yes, true. Titans would still exist and people would still die. But in my opinion, it was the most reasonable and humane plan given the circumstances. There's never a binary solution to any problem. Eren just wasn't willing to compromise. It's one of those things that's cool is that one of the reasons why I've been excited about the end of Attack on Titan is because I believed it was going to go full Eva. And one of the things that I kind of attached to that full Eva side of things was basically Eren's motivations getting rather simplified.
Gotcha.
And that's something that has happened less and less as the story went on. And then the time skip happened, and suddenly there was a simplifying of Eren's character to where his direction was going. Meaning that as we went from seasons 1 to 3, we saw Eren disassembling. And then we time skipped, and suddenly Eren had been reassembled into this broken piece of something. Yeah. And we didn't know what that was. Now we know, and there's still some stuff that needs to be explained and gotten into. But in terms of, Eren being unwilling to compromise, Tatakai, we've got to do this.
He was born into this world, right?
Yeah.
All the people on Parody that would die as a result of whatever fighting did happen, let's say if there was, the whole thing you were talking about.
Yeah.
They didn't need to die. They didn't deserve to die. It wasn't their fault. But at the same time, it's not the fault of everyone outside
it's
either.
Not either, no.
Yeah.
It's things are never so simple. And thus when people propose final solutions of this sort, they have to simplify it to I will just get rid of this entire potential root source of the problem, which is the fact that there are
generalizations and vilification.
Yeah. And it's good luck with that one. You are now the villain, Eren.
Yep. And the tough thing is that Eren isn't actually doing the vilification. That's the Jaegerists, right?
Exactly.
And that's probably why it's so easy for, people like, say, Mikasa and stuff, and them to be like, no, you guys have got some screws loose, right?
Right, which is why they need to get into the idea of how much of this is Eren versus how much of this is, the founding Titan, Ymir,
Attack
all that
Titan
kind of
and
stuff.
all that stuff of just some cosmic will or whatever.
And the fact that this is Isayama writing it, it has to be Eren. That's the thing. It has to be Eren. That's the whole point of this whole freedom thing, is that Eren is making this decision. This is a thing where Eren is not free because he influenced himself, you know, that whole thing. But also, he is making this decision, and therefore, he is under the weight of it. The actual awareness of what's going on is not lost on him.
And because he's not vilifying the other side of the rest of the world, the only way he can go through it with it is if he believes he has no choice, right? Because enough people hate us, I have to get rid of all of them.
Right. Which is why, you know, this is where
we're in this situation. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But okay, I have to have those conversations though with Eren. Like that's why it can't end with just a dramatic fight.
We already had the Ava conversation with Zeke and everything, but it's
now we need to have it with the friends.
2.0.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, thank you so much for the comments, everybody. Yes. Really excited to get in this episode. So yeah, save the end of the discussion if you want to see what the next code is and leave your comment there. So y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. John? Pads? Looks like a diamond. That was cool.
Yeah.
Whoa, Mikasa! Whoa! It's like a dream of his, of like what he longs for.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh buddy.
Yep.
Oh. He just wants to stay here and not have to.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yep.
Oh man. What a start for an episode. So this is setting up the plan for the 4 gunshots, yeah.
Classic Attack on Titan. Show the explanation after the fact.
Yep, very classic.
Genocide is wrong. Indeed, Hanji.
Style, yeah. Wow. Alright, cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Instead of the small scale rumbling, you'll get a large scale one. Yeah. Don't wake anybody. Yep. Wow, Hanji. Oh. God, everyone's just under so much stress right now.
End of the world to do that to you.
Oh, wow. This isn't what Erwin would have done.
Wow.
Yeah, just thinking of...
Can you see them, Jean? Our comrades?
Yep. Yep. Nice. Oh.
The number of faces
that you recognize, yeah. It's like the entire front 3 rows are all characters we recognize, yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe it is pretty simple.
Yeah. Whoa! No OP? Night of the End. And no OP, dude.
Yeah. I wonder what's gonna happen.
A lot, probably. Back in military, like 104, they're just cutting potatoes. Oh my god, yes. That's the shot. That's the shot right there. Look at this. Look at the way they're segregated. Too.
Oh yeah. We'll stop the apocalypse together, but sharing dinner? Yeah. It is kind of rich coming from you.
Yeah. It was real simple back then.
Weren't you the one who sent the child soldiers?
Yep.
先にマーレを苦しめ蹂躙したのはエルディアだってことぐらいは理解してるんだろうな。
It's a cycle.
2000年も前のことでいつまで被害者面してやがる。
Look at these kids here.
そのようなたわごとが実在する2000年の歴史に通用すると思っているのか。
なんだと。
Yeah. Here we go. Can't be
And
so
if you
simple. can it?
justify it that way, then
Yeah. God, everyone else is just silent.
あんたたちに殺せるの？
And he makes it real simple here.
right. That's the real question, isn't it?
Yep.
エレンを殺せるの？
I love that she's looking at Mikasa like specifically.
エレンを止める方法は殺すだけじゃない。あんたならそう言うと思うの。それじゃあ何？説
You
得でも
think
す
you
る
have the
の？
chance for that when the world's at stake?
It's not the thing of whether or not you can do that. It's if you can't, would you then kill him?
それは
Well, and what if you give up your chance by
エ
trying
レ
to
ンと
talk to
話して
him?
みないと。
Yeah, see, this is... Yeah.
対話が可能だとして。
Yep.
それでも虐
What
殺を
then?
やめてくれなか
What
った時
then?
はどうするの？エレンが敵だと。アホになるからわ
It's
から
so
ない。
fun because it's a flip of...
The Annie situation in
Annie
season
Aaron
1.
situation in
Yep,
season
yep,
one,
uh-huh. I was just about to say that.
Yep.
結局はそうでしょ。
And that's why it needs to be addressed with Mikasa, because if
Yeah.
Mikasa is willing, then everyone else
エレ
will
ンより
be.
大事なものなんて。
Is it possible
考え
Aaron
たことも
is
ないだろうから
someone
ね。
precious to you?
つまり私を殺すべきだと。
レオンハート
Levi's rolling in his almost like freshly dug grave, like, shut the fuck up,
I'm
kids!
done with all you people.
あんたの気持ちはよくわかる。私もエレンを止めたい理由は一つ。マーレにいる父親を殺されたくないから。
Simple
だ
as
からあ
that.
んたの助けがいる。わかった。はいはいはい。さあ、
Yep.
シチュー。
So enough of that. Let's chow down.
Hanji's genius for making them sit down and eat together. 'Cause this is
Yep.
where things can relax, yeah.
頼りは
Okay.
東人家だ。清美さん曰く、ジェネラション一つ
Here we go!
Yep.
Yep! Of course, of course!
Transportation.
問題は始祖の巨人がどこにいるかだ。
Ha!
闇
Locating.
雲に飛んでもすぐに燃料は尽きる。
I'm
There's
sure
gonna
that'll
be a
be
big
very
groove in
difficult.
the earth.
さらったイエーガーがまず向かう先はどこだ。
知るわけない。知ってたとして、なぜ私が答える必
They're
要
really not wanting to show people talking right now.
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
やつは前
It
も
feels like the
地ならしの
shortcut
進
kind
路
of
を
thing
想
being
定している
taken.
But like,
何らか
they're
の
not
予想
being
は
subtle
できる
about it.
Yeah.
無駄だ。死にたがってる。
でも自分の故郷のためにマーレと戦ってたんだろう。故郷がこのまま踏み潰されてもいいのかよ。
I mean, she was kind of just simping for Zeke.
Yeah.
ごく一般的なマーレ人家庭の出自をマーレに併合された小国出身と
Ah, there it is.
初めて出会った時、
Uh-huh.
Yep.
世界を救う。これ以上に人を引きつける甘美な言葉があるでしょうか。何億
Does have a
もの
ring to it.
命を救うという
Yeah.
崇高な胸の高鳴りに身を任せ、これまでの遺恨などなきもののように喉へと流し込む。
Yeah.
それが今、
Yeah.
私の目に映
Yeah.
るあなた方の姿です。少し
I like that they ended with the arm in there.
Mm-hmm. So
Yes.
important that we know about
Hanji's
Hanji's
stew.
stew.
ナー・ブラウ
Yes.
ン、あなたが壁に穴を開けたことで、どれだけのエルディア人が巨人に食い殺
Let's
さ
go
れ
and
たか
count it all up. Why don't we?
アニー・レオンハート、
Mm-hmm.
あなたも随分と調査兵団を
Yeah,
殺した
just
そう
a
です。
few.
ストヘスクでも大勢の住人を踏み潰したとか。普段は良識人のあなた
Yep.
が
I'll then bring up literally Armin.
は
破壊するとはあるん
Mr. Mini Bomb himself.
Exactly.
皆さんのレベリオでの勇姿を私は忘れてはいません。
Oh. Oh.
Kind of odd
Talking
cutting back
jump.
to the fire.
Yeah.
あなたは車力を撃つためにそこにいるファルコ少年めがけ勇猛果敢に雷装を撃ち込みました。そこにいる少女ガビによってサシャが撃ち殺されました。訓練兵から家族のように一緒に過ごした皆さんの悲しみと憎し
So many stills.
Trees,
Oh my
man.
god.
美味しいです、ハンチさん。 おかわりありますか？
John just carries on.
Yeah.
まだまだあるよ。
ありがとう、エレナ。お互いのわだかまりをここで
Yeah.
打ち明けて心を整
Appreciate
理
that.
させようとしてくれてるんだよな。
そうだ、マルコだ。確か彼の死に兄が関わってると言ってましたよね。もう兄から聞いたんですか？
Yeah.
マルコの死の真相を。
Yeah.
Could be good to know for closure.
私がマルコから立体起動装置を取り上げた。だからマルコは巨人に加わり。
兄は俺の命令に従っただけだ。
Yeah. Yeah.
マルコは俺とベルトルトの聞かれてはいけない会話を耳にした。
Again with the stills.
空中でマルコを屋根に叩きつけ、動けないように押さえつけている間に兄に立体起動装置を外させた。マルコはその
God,
場か
I
ら動けない
really
ま
wanted to see the
ま
emotion on Reiner's face for all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the point of like transitioning the shots of the trees so
Well, it's so
rapidly?
fast.
Like it's kind of jarring.
Yeah.
マルコは最後に何か言ってなかったか？
俺たちはまだ話し合ってないって。
Yeah.
そうだよ、俺たちはろくに話し合ってない。だからどっちかが死ぬまで殺し合うみたいなことになっちまったんじゃねえのか。
And now you're talking it through.
Yep.
誰が想像できただろうか。私たちが火を
I
囲ん
did.
で食事するなんて。
I did.
マルコが巨人に食われるのを見ながら、俺はなんでマルコが巨人に食われているんだと思った。怒りに身を任せてその巨人を殺した。よくもマルコをとか言いながら、
Back it all the way.
頭がおかしくなっちまったんだろ。
許せないでくれ。
Oh.
本当にどうしようもない。
もういいって。
すまない。
Yeah. 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 Jeez.
It's easy to go back to this, isn't it?
Wow, the fist being held up. Oh.
私たちはパラディ島のあなたたちを皆殺しにすることが
Oh, Gabby. Yeah.
すごくずうずうしいことは分かってますが、皆さんの助けが必要です。私たちに力を貸してください。
Gabby's VA has been killing it.
I know. I know.
どこ行くんだ、ジャン。
ジャン、おかわりどうするの？ダメだ。行っちゃった。
ガビ。
So, my guy.
うるせえな。
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Oh, all amidst this giant forest, you know?
That's right. They're in the
Yeah.
trees.
But they've all found each other in the middle and they're
Yeah.
hashing this out.
出発の時間だ。
We're doing
協
this.
力してくれるの？
Hell yeah. Of course we are.
の
Yeah.
もちろん。
Right.
Yeah.
We had to process some things. It was a bit
いつま
rough,
で寝てん
but
だライナー。怪我なんてとっくに治ってんだろうが。
and they're off.
God, that was stressful.
Yeah.
Ugh.
ライナー、お前には謝らねえからな。
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
それでいい。
I love the little
The boxes in between them and stuff,
Uh-huh. Yeah. We're not talking forgiveness. We're
港がイエーガー派に占拠されています。
well, there it
おそ
is.
らくは機関車で先回りしたのでしょう。
Yep.
対巨人用装備の兵士たちが多く、
Yeah, they're
戦
not
闘態勢で
stupid.
した。
Right. Of course they'd be here.
And now we get to kill Flock.
Wouldn't that be lovely?
Oh God. Oh God. I don't like looking. No. I
That
don't
was
like
not one
looking
of
at that
the-
face.
That was not one of the fun faces. God damn, there were. I think there was more stills than motion.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. The most animation was the punching out, bit there,
Right.
and it was hyper edited. But I mean,
But yeah, so they talked about things.
Yeah,
they
it's-
talked about things, and
they talked about things.
yeah,
I actually am really glad that this story part happened. This episode was a bit wonky.
But hey, that might mean that they're saving up for.
Yeah, in some ways, I'm kind of surprised it took this long. But like, you know, the idea of like having that feeling of like shortcuts being taken, because if we're getting the rumbling,
it was probably all focused into this episode. Like,
I mean, well, yeah, I hope so. Holy talking Batman.
Yeah.
And then holy just scenery and background stuff, slideshow Batman.
Yep, watch. When it comes to the podcast to discuss this episode, we're going to have copyright problems because since we're just showing still images, it's going to be like, no, that's just the episode, you know? Yeah. But,
we actually got a lot of talking.
We did.
And I'm really glad that the featured comments basically were just like the kind of things where, apparently there was discourse amongst the community of
like where's the talking?
Where's the talking?
It's
like,
it's
look,
right here.
It's all right here.
Yeah, in the classic Attack
So
on
much
Titan
of it.
fashion, they show us the action of what's happening so that we know plot-wise where we're at. And then afterwards, it's like, okay, here's the explanation and justification for it.
They gave us the Hanji interactions that tied the Jean Mikasa plan into their rescue of sorts.
Right.
Which I love then that is then bookended with the realization of, oh, shit, the Aegirists went ahead of us by locomotive because they were laying all the tracks.
Because, of course, they did.
That's
right?
something that they would very much be able to do.
Right. They would have to go to the port to get off the island. And, oh, hey, the port is the main area where they needed the tracks to be able to go from in the first place anyways.
Yeah. The reasons why they have to go to the port is probably just because it's the most convenient bit of civilization to where they could launch whatever the flying boat is.
Right. Or just any other boat reasonably that could, you know, like not some rowboat or something.
No, but that's my point, is that the Azumabitos being there is probably more because there's just civilization there. But if they had been able to communicate with them, get the fuck out of this and go off, you know, off the site, we wouldn't have this problem.
Right.
So it's a bit of one of those things of where if they had the foresight to let them know, like, hey, we need to use your flying contraption, whatever it is, well, then why are you still at the port? You know, like...
Yeah, I think it was something where the Azumabitos, I could be wrong about this, but they were even waiting at the port so that way they could, like, make a quick getaway if they needed to. I could be wrong about that. But then Jaegerists take over, you know.
Yeah, I just feel like it's one of those things of where, like, maybe this device or what have you, like, I'm guessing it can hold everyone, but the thing is that they would all have to be, of course, obviously untransformed. Like,
sure.
But then also, like... Is it then a thing where it's like they need that plus like other stuff? Because I don't see why a flying contraption would need to be at the port. That feels
probably just because it's, you know, it's an important thing. It's moored there, and that's where the Azumabito are. So
won't they just destroy it? Like, won't Flock just be like, oh well. This I mean, unless it's literally not at the port. That's my thing, is that...
Oh, gotcha.
If it's at the port, Flock will destroy it. If it's not at the port, why are they going to the port, you know?
I guess maybe Flock thinks, like, no, this is just something that we have in our arsenal. This might be something that could help us at some point.
That's really cocky.
Like
I want that to be his mistake, is that he's thinking, like, he's stupid and cocky enough to think that, like, they can't succeed. So therefore, we're going to save it in case we need this technology, because this will give us that superiority over all the people that are going to be dead.
It's like, something that's prototypical. I mean, no, actually, yeah, that could like. Well, oh no,
that's my point.
Oh no, yeah, no.
Why would you need superior technology, if you're literally going to wipe out everybody else?
There's a part of Flock that's like, I'm going to save this for the future,
or a part of Flock that's like, well, I want Eren to succeed. I want Eren to actually be able to do this, because it will mean that the fighting is over. It's stopped.
Right,
and
our devil was able to save us.
Right, exactly. We got our devil. It's what he's been wanting. And, of course, his main goal would be to have the fighting end so that no more Eldians has to die.
Right.
That's the only redeeming side of Flock, basically, is that he doesn't want to fight. He's like Jean in that regard, except he's doing the devilish things in order to have this.
He's doing an awful lot of fighting and killing and executing in order to make sure.
Because that's what Eren would do in his eyes. Yeah. God. I mean, that's literally what Eren's doing. I mean, that's not sugarcoated. That's exactly what it is. And Hanji brought it up multiple times.
Yeah, I love
genocide is wrong.
Well, right, but I love the bit where Hanji's
I mean, it's too simple to just make like a whole Like it's like, well, yes, a Hanji, obviously. We're not
right,
debating
Captain
whether or not it's wrong.
Yeah.
Like it's
exactly.
the point of under what circumstances is it the only choice. You know.
Well, Hanji also blaming herself for and acknowledging that shit, I might have also helped drive Eren to this.
Yes.
Not a question of whether or not it's right or wrong, because obviously it's wrong. But in the it's happening, and maybe if we had done things differently, we could have kept it from happening. Yeah. Maybe we could have seen the signs that this is the kind of stuff that Eren was considering, you know.
Right. It's the kind of thing where Hanji is obviously not, like, capable of going into a full philosophical breakdown about why this is a thing that isn't just the only choice. But it's the idea that
Eren believes it, so that's the situation.
That's the situation. Because obviously murder is wrong. It doesn't matter whether it's 1, 10, 10 million. They're all wrong.
Right.
It doesn't become any more right because the number is less, or any less right because the number is higher. You know.
If you're doing it in a binary, it's a 0 or 1. You know,
0
there
or
you go.
1. Yeah,
True, false. You know.
So Eren is at least on the Jaeger side of things becoming the villain for their benefit. And then from the Eren side of things, we don't know necessarily how he's, you know, internalizing all this shit.
Yeah.
So all our characters have to then externalize the feelings that they have, not just regarding the fact that Eren is, you know, about to or currently committing mass genocide, but also the idea that, well, a lot of them kind of are responsible for a lot of these things that brought us here as well.
Oh, yeah.
And we need to air out not just the fact that we feel a lot of things about this, but like we're not trying to be like golden saviors, like, you know, like pretending that we're going to make this perfect world because we're going to stop the super evil Eren. It's no, we don't know the best solution. But we know there has to be a more complicated solution that we find together if we can start the process of breaking the cycle of violence by talking and coming to understanding and communicating with each other. And that's the episode, basically.
Basically.
Like, that's basically
and
it.
And it's something where a lot of the characters have a lot of individual things that they need to process and work through. So, like, for instance, Jean. The fact that he doesn't know exactly the circumstances of why Marco ended up dying.
Yeah.
Right? Just that Annie had something to do with it. Okay, yeah, it makes sense that that's something where he would specifically want to know that, right? And, they didn't actually know what the whole situation was with Reiner exactly, right? Because the only one who really got, like, potentially concrete evidence of that was probably Eren, other than just them, you know, talking to Reiner and Bertolt in season 2 as they're running away and trusting that I guess they felt bad about it, you know?
Yeah.
But,
Because Reiner's one of those characters where he has no character reason to want to talk about this stuff. He's under enough pain as it is. So the fact that it gets brought up is a really cool opportunity for us as the audience to empathize with this boy who's just broken.
Right.
But we know what he did.
Right. And he's not going to let Annie take the fall for Marco's death. Yeah. You know, like, because that's the
Well, that's not what Marcel would have done.
Well, sure, but then also just even though Reiner has no reason to talk about that stuff, the big driving force and motivation for Reiner this entire time is that if someone else is going to be feeling pain, he'll make it so that he's the one feeling the pain, right?
His bloodied face.
Exactly, whether it's physically or emotionally or whatever, right? He'll run in front of the artillery fire, you know, he'll say, no, I told her to do it, you know, this is what happened. He overheard us talking. I thought, you know, we were in danger, so it'd be nice if a Titan ate him. Yeah.
I loved that the one really like very animated part of the episode was Jean beating the shit out of Reiner, because it was something where, you know, we know obviously like Jean's not trying to kill him.
No.
Jean can't kill him really, but also he's the plot armor Titan.
Right.
Also on the simpler side of things, Jean needs to be the one to do this, because in a lot of ways, if anyone else kind of does it, it's something that's...
Jean's doing it for himself, not for Reiner, not for Marco or anything like that, or the rest of them. It's so that way he can know that his feelings on the matter have been communicated and words aren't enough for it. So... especially when Reiner has the gall to apologize.
Right. But I think what's important here is that Jean being the leader also in some ways. And I liked that in some ways Hanji's kind of made the point in the beginning of the episode that she's not really their leader. So John kind of steps up and says, okay, I'll be in some ways a bit of the devil, if you will. And
Okay.
I'll let out all the frustration and violence, if you will, upon the one person who actually wants to take it, wants to receive it.
And everyone else then can see the violence being enacted,
Exactly.
that maybe there's a part of them that wishes they would do, but then they see it and it's like, do they really want this?
Do they really want this?
Okay,
exactly.
maybe not.
And then Gabby and fucking Falco step into the middle there. And it's Gabby first.
Right.
Because obviously on some level, Gabby feels exactly like Reiner in this case. But also the idea is that this is her family.
Yeah.
So still at the basest simple level, nobody goes to protect Reiner other than his family. The one that is the one that is the closest to him. It is still a selfish, very simple motivation. The idea that she knows Reiner more than really anybody here.
Yeah.
Like Annie had that little bit of time, but Annie didn't get to know Reiner.
She kept about as far from Reiner
She did
socially
not
and
be anywhere near.
distance-wise as she could.
So literally, Reiner only has Gabby, and then by some small extension, Falco.
Yeah.
But the fact that Gabby jumps in, takes the kick, then realizes, oh, this is my moment to basically beg and plead at the simplest level. Please come help us. We know that what we did leaves us to where we do not deserve anything here. And you could go Magath and talk history. You could go in and count it up and try and
do some tally or whatever.
Try and play some Wade measurement game and stuff like that.
Yep.
But really think about that.
Yeah.
Really
it's
think
such
about
an inane kind of game to play.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Think about the concept even of you, an individual, a meaningless little speck in time, basically saying, I'm going to basically play God and count and value human life, a bunch of other individuals across history, and weigh them against each other.
Well, even that completely put aside.
Yeah.
You don't even need to do that. Like, okay, yes, doing that is totally like arrogant and all of that stuff, right? But you're forgetting the most basic question. Did any of the people here do those things?
No.
Like,
in some ways, the only one here who probably has the most, I would say, on their plate in that regard is Magath, because he's the oldest.
Sure.
And he has perpetuated the system in Marley that was,
and
killing
he's
Eldians,
lucky in this conversation because the people here are younger than him and or don't know him that well, or haven't known him that long, so they don't necessarily know all the stuff he's done, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But even aside from that, the thing that I thought was a really good point for them to bring up, not just like from an emotional standpoint, but from a technical standpoint, you guys did help Eren get to the point where he could achieve the rumbling, and that's a bit of a problem.
And yeah, that whole like thing of what everybody's done here. Yeah, everybody here is a murderer. Everybody.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Nobody.
Right.
Literally.
But even putting aside the whole murder thing, because you could pretty quickly get to the point where it's like, all right, let's morality. That's kind of a joke to talk about at this point, right?
Yeah.
Tactically, can we rely on you, given that you are the people who, if not for you guys being that extra like weight to turn the tide, we would have kept him from being able to do the rumbling. We would have won. So now the idea of working together to go and stop this, how can we reasonably believe, and trust you that you won't just turn on us later? And I love that Annie brings it up in the duality directly at Mikasa, and the duality switcheroo to Mikasa talking to Eren and in the tunnel in season 1. I love it. I love it so much. Do you maybe have feelings for her, right? This it somehow works even better now than it did back then.
Way better now,
right?
It works way better now. And this is one of those things where, in some ways, the idea that Mikasa suggests, well, there's other ways we could, maybe talk to him or something like that. I almost feel like that's the two angles here. We have Armin, the one that talks to Eren. I'm sorry, Mikasa, Eren doesn't talk to you. It's really rough.
He doesn't.
It's really rough. But in a lot of ways, Eren's care, I would say, for you is one that's been kept at a distance.
He's been kind of smothered enough by you in the past when things were simpler that the fact that he doesn't really care about the fact that you care for him.
But
you know?
but on some level, it's something where like you look at what he's doing right now, and this is his twisted version of care
Showing
for
just how much
all
he
his
cares.
friends, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And it's like
I'm going to make sure
that's
you
really
survive
fucked.
at whatever cost.
Yeah, that's really fucked. So in some ways, having it like be put into the situation of where Mikasa, if it comes down to it, and we can't solve this peacefully, we
Yeah.
can't stop him.
Right.
Will you kill him? Not just like can you? Because obviously we don't know if Eren can be
Right.
killed. He's
But
kind
if-
of already been killed.
Right.
in
But if
some
you're
ways,
not
but
willing, then what's the point?
what's the point?
And
yeah.
given that she is their most competent fighter at this point, not including the Titans, right?
obviously, like the Titans are going to be
and
insanely useful.
theoretically, maybe even past, like, including the Titans, right? Like,
Well, that's the weird thing is that in some ways, we don't know necessarily what will happen if. Well, okay. So let's get into a bit of
Okay.
tactics here.
all right.
Zeke has this Zeke has this very like important thing in the plot right now where he's got to be alive, but like he can't be really capable of doing anything right now, like because he would be trying to stop Eren if he could.
Right.
So he's not necessarily eaten, but he could be, but he might not be.
Yeah,
But it's in this weird situation where depending on what's going on with Zeke, we don't know what Eren can do to Eldians, like to people
Sure.
that can turn into Titans.
That's
as well.
true. Yeah. And
Like-
Ackermans are the ones that seem to be resistant to the memory wiping and stuff, hence why they were persecuted. So, yeah, theoretically, Eren could just wipe all their memories or something. Now, granted,
There's some really terrifying things
He
that
respects, I think, their individual will and ability to choose enough that he isn't doing that yet, because
But the
otherwise
thing
he
is-
might have just done it.
But the
already.
thing is, if push came to shove,
Uh-huh.
and Eren is so dead believing that this is the thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
we don't know if founding Titan Eren, like Eren underneath all this like
yeah,
gumption to do this awful thing would basically be like, and fuck your freedom, what have you.
Right, because-
I'm trying to protect you or what have you.
Right,
Why are you
because-
trying to stop
yeah,
me?
it's a
Mikasa might literally be one of the only people that could actually be like,
Yep. Yep, that is a definite
free.
possibility.
Yeah.
Which is ironic, given that he was the one who was always telling her, "You're not free, and that's why I hate you."
Well, he wasn't always saying
Well,
that.
okay, no,
he just said that
he's-
at that
he
one
said
part
it,
there.
He said it at the table, right?
Yeah, and that feels more and more the longer away we get from that it
Yeah.
was a thing to push her, potentially to stop him.
But even if it is, it probably did come from somewhere, right? Like
Oh yeah, I mean, let's be real. We just go back to the parts of Mikasa throughout seasons 1 to 3. Eren.
yeah, exactly.
Eren.
I'm pretty sure that got on his nerves at least a little bit. Yeah,
Right.
Uh-huh.
But I think he was also absolutely hamming it up to manipulate her.
Right. He
Absolutely
is. This is also
going
the
way
person
too
who
hard.
said, when she was like, "Thank you for wrapping this scarf around me," and it's like,
Yeah.
"Wait, is she gonna kiss him?" He's like, "I'll wrap it around you as many times as it takes."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's
or again and again, or whatever he says. Yeah.
Let's not forget that Eren is still a person. Eren is still a human being.
Right.
And that's something that we are going to have to wrestle with as we realize that our protagonist is also our villain right now. And we need to stop him. But at some point, it's going to be easier to understand him. And that's not necessarily going to be a fun time because he's still a person. They can either simplify it in a way that I really wouldn't like and just say that I'm not free, just
Right.
I
And that's
had
why
no
the
choice.
Well, and that's why the whole thing with the way that the whole time paths memories thing works is a very tricky thing to do, because
That's why we need to hear his perspective.
You don't want
on
to
it.
mess with the agency of your main character,
Right,
And
and-
especially with a main character like Eren.
He absolutely is feeling some kind of conflict. It's
Right.
just the question of
There's
how
a reason
much...
he was staring in the mirror and resolving himself.
Tatakai, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Eren as a person, as a human being, is obviously probably going through a lot, or has gone through a lot of the shit that went down in this episode of them needing to process this. The problem is that he probably did 99.9% of it alone.
Yeah, and
The
then it just
only
becomes this nice little not echo chamber, but like echo chamber imply because it's a voice of one. You know,
in some ways he might have been secretly doing it for the last 4 years, and that it's just been a thing where there's been a lot of characters that he's been processing it with. They just didn't know that that's what he was doing.
Okay, sure. Well, and theoretically,
like with Zeke, with
depending on how obtuse you want to get with this,
in the Declaration of War,
he could have been processing this ever since he was born. Like, maybe not concretely,
not concretely,
course, right? But you know,
there's some cool Evangelion. I'm gonna stop using that phrase. But there's a lot of cool
trippy paths shit
they can do to really get at the motivations of Eren.
No, the trippy paths shit has already been done. See, it's not that because it doesn't go back and change things. Right. It's just already was. Yeah.
That's how. Time do
terrible.
be.
Yeah.
But all right, let's go flocking kill.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
A Jaegerist,
flock? Yeah, like if it was just like, okay, so the rumbling's all happening and everything, and okay, and we know there were a lot of still images this episode, but we know it's gonna make you happy.
You want to see some thunder spears shoved up Flock's ass?
Here's a nice juicy Flock. What if he theoretically maybe were to be killed next episode? Who knows if that'll actually happen, right? But it's that could be on the table, you know.
I will say there's a couple plot things that they're gonna have to conveniently figure out with the reasons why Flock is going to get stopped, or at the very least not be made not into a problem, so that they can continue, onward. If we stop all the Titans over there, will this world actually have freedom?
Well, yeah. So,
I'm really excited. I'm just really excited because how many episodes left are there? Like,
this is 25, so 3 more.
3 more.
Yeah,
okay, that's actually quite a bit because we can deal with Flock in the next episode.
Sure.
Like, 2 episodes after that though. Oh my god. Yeah.
Like maybe we get like an episode with them actually like starting the attack on Eren. Attack on Titan.
Yeah. But y'all, all right. While this episode didn't give us, I would say, some immediate stuff in terms of the visuals to go into here.
Yeah.
It fills me with that sense of dread, given that we spent so much time talking here that.
What were they saving the animation for?
Yeah, what were they saving basically all that effort for? Probably for the actual rumbling.
The first time the rumbling hits a town or something.
Yeah, that's the thing that's actually really scary is like, what kind of visual representation do you give to something like that? Because the OP gave us an idea. We had people looking up in crowds like, oh God. We had battleships like moving their guns up. And it's like, oh no.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. And especially with the whole thing we talked about in the previous episode of content warning, Connie trying to feed Falco to his mom. Cool. Rumbling. Yeah. Children getting squished, like.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the full-length timer version of this reaction, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an any level support there gets you access to our Discord where you can chat with us and the anime community there. And then there's also stuff for the manga people in there as well. And let's figure out a code for this discussion.
Slideshow.
No. Let's do something that kinda makes a little bit light of that, but also
potato stew.
Jean, your seconds.
God damn it!
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know.
Gabby's begging.
Genocide is wrong.
I feel like genocide as a word might get
good point. By the that might not be the best idea.
What about your seconds? Yeah.
What about your seconds?
What about your seconds? There you go.
I'm sure YouTube won't have a problem with that one.
No, that should be fine. But y'all, all right. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one. Also, be sure to check out our Twitch stream tomorrow, where we'll go and talk about this episode for probably about 15 minutes, because that's about how much the episode was slideshow,
God damn, it really was, though.
But
maybe more.
Maybe not that much, but we'll see. But yeah, take care, everybody, and we'll see you in the next one. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.